Welcome to the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business Podcast. My name is Sally Harrison, and I'm the CEO of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce. Today, we are in the University of Phoenix podcast studio, and joining me is Liz Paulus with College Bound, Arizona.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
I am so thrilled to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Well, it's good to have you, and like we were just talking about, you are our first podcast since COVID started. So,
oh my goodness, do I have to wear my mask for this?
No, we're good, I think. Yeah,
right.
yeah. So today, Liz, we're going to talk about getting students to college.
Ah, great.
Probably your favorite topic,
I love
right?
talking about that, yeah.
Well, welcome to today's show. So let's get started. Let's talk about how College Bound Arizona got started in the first place.
With the Mesa Rotary, our family were hosting an exchange student, and what we found out is the student's going to be a senior in high school when they come. So when she was going to school and picked up her best friend, well, we did everything together. We went to Disneyland, and we did sleepovers and pool parties and prom and blah, blah, blah. So we got to be very good friends. Well, the exchange students, they go home. Mm-hmm. And here I was with this wonderful young lady who called me one day and asked me about helping her with FAFSA. I have no idea what that is, but yeah, sure, I'll help you. And so she came over and we filled out the paperwork, which was really hard. I mean, who at 18 years old knows what is a gross adjusted income?
Right.
Or adjusted gross income?
Right.
Who knows that stuff? And I'm looking at this paper on the computer, and I'm looking at her, who's very bright, and I realized that that's going to be a problem for not just her, but any student that's kind of on their own trying to figure out how to get financial aid, which the government provides to defray the cost of college. Well, if you don't get that stuff, maybe you don't go to college because it's too expensive.
Right.
So that was how it got started. I did some research, and I found out that it wasn't just her. And so then we got together with some community leaders, and we put a program together. So.
And what year was that?
I know. This is our 10th anniversary.
That
was
so
10
exciting.
Years. I know. I can't believe it. 10 years.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. So talk about what programs, how many students have you served? Because I know it's a lot.
Yeah. So over 10 years, we've been primarily in Mesa, although we've drawn students in the past from Chandler or Gilbert or Tempe or whatever. So I would say about 3,000 students over that 10 years. And we have 3 programs, one that starts in the 8th grade, and then we jump to the seniors in high school. And both of those programs are very intentional about what we teach and why we teach it and how successful it is. But we also do a program with the Mesa Market, which is at the community college, because of a study that we found, there are lots of hungry and homeless kids at community college. So we do a food box program and hygiene drives to help them out as well. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. I didn't realize you did that third part.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So why do you start in the 8th grade? And what do they learn about college?
So I said, we're pretty intentional about what we teach, and you have to, envision the end result, which is going to be their college-going resume. They're actually going to get a resume at the end that they can show their parents. And so how do you fill in a resume when you're only in 8th grade? So that's what we teach them all year long. So it's they select a career by doing an inventory of their interests. We do community service so that they have that to put on their resume, and they begin to work as a team and do project work together. We learn about how to calculate your grade point average. So those are all things that they can do in the 8th grade. And then with that resume, they can go into high school knowing, I'm still going to keep my grade point average up. I'm still going to do community service. I'm still going to be involved in extracurricular activities. Right. I'm going to practice for my ACT test. So that resume is a pretty good tool. So
that's awesome. It sounds very exciting for these students. So talk about how COVID has impacted this program.
Oh, my gosh. Where do you even start with that?
Yeah,
so
what a mess.
It was. So this past year, we actually had 54 students go completely funded to ASU. So that was $4.5 million of award money for these students, because what people don't realize is that at the college level or the community college level, if you qualify for financial aid, college is free or nearly free. So listen to this.
Free and nearly free is good.
Yes. Like, for example, ASU has what they call a promise program, so that if you qualify for federal aid and you have a 3.0 GPA, they're going to provide you 4 years paid tuition and fees. Well,
Holy
who
cow.
Who wouldn't take advantage of that, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we had 54 kids that were raring to go to ASU, and they're going to go on and do amazing things.
54.
And then COVID. So what happened is we had, in the past, done some computer distributions. They'd done some scholarship writing, blah, 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 and we gave out computers. Well, I got my first phone call early March from one of the students that had gotten a laptop, or hadn't gotten one, she hadn't gotten it yet. And she found that with her Chromebook, which is what she had, she couldn't finish her admissions process at ASU because you have to download in order to take their placement test.
Yeah.
And so that was just the first phone call. There were a bunch of phone calls in that regard. They had gotten this award and they wouldn't be able to finish because COVID, it's all online, right? And at the time, you couldn't leave your house to go find another resource for the computers. So quickly, we made some purchases, and I was out distributing laptops. I think we gave out like 17 of them at the end of the day for the students to be able to finish that admissions process. So that's just one way. That's just one way. So then, here's a little student story. There is a situation when you are qualifying for federal aid, there's a step 2. Step 2 might be that you have to go through this thing called verification. Again, what 18-year-old is going to know how to do this?
Right.
Well, I had this one particular student and got caught up in verification. Well, his situation was he's from the foster care program. So he doesn't have parents that are going to intercede.
Sure.
And so I had never met him, and we began working to finish his paperwork, and he got caught in verification. So he has to go back to the IRS to get the document that they're looking for. Now, what's standing between him and an Obama award, which is about $100,000, is this piece of paper. And in COVID, everything shut down. And you couldn't get an answer from the IRS. It was not going to happen.
Sure.
And the days clicked by, and they clicked by, and they clicked by. And finally, we're in June. I'm on a rant with probably somebody you know. And I was explaining this thing to her, and she happened to be a CPA. And she said, "Oh, I can help you with that," which absolutely blew my mind. After all this, months have gone by. How does that happen? Well, go get this power of attorney signed for this young man, and then I can communicate to the IRS, and I'll get it. So I run off with this power of attorney. I literally drive through Taco Bell's drive-thru, and I throw it at this kid, and I'm like, "Here, sign this." Sign this. So he signs it at Taco Bell. I go back, I scan it, I send it to the CPA. She uploads it because everything else has taken months and months.
Sure.
Well, what's going to happen here?
Yeah.
And I got it that day. I got the paper that day.
Oh, what a great story.
And we were able to upload it. And that young man, when I told him what had happened and we got it through, I'm going to tell you, he wept because
that's awesome.
This was his one chance to make a huge difference in his life, and he's there now.
That's so cool. Well, tell us some more stories about students. That's awesome.
So when I announced to students that college is free or nearly free, let me show you how to get this done, especially to ASU, which is not in their wheelhouse at this time. These are low-income students.
Probably never would dream of something like that.
Never dream of it. I have to sometimes meet with parents because they don't believe me. And so this particular student was another Obama award. And what that means is there's low income and then there's really low income. So if you're in the second category, you may qualify for an Obama award. You get tuition, fees, books, dorms, and meals. So she was one of these kids. And to this mom who has 10 children, oh, by the way, 10.
Oh, wow.
This is number 4 going to college and would be the first one to go to a university. And she called me up and said, "I'm not getting this. Can I come see you?" And so she and I sat together as I was going through some financial literacy with her daughter about how to navigate your first year of college. So it's not just getting them into college, it's being very intentional about their success. Anyway, she believed me. That student's at ASU now. Wow. So sometimes the parents are very incredulous, and I've had to meet with them more than once. And then one more story. I got to tell you.
Well, it just sometimes I think people, it seems too good to be true, right?
It's free or nearly free. I'm telling you, in Arizona, this is great. This is a great deal. So this one last student I want to tell you about. She was a senior in high school. Never met her, but my husband knew her grandpa. My husband knew her grandpa, and they were talking, and grandpa said, oh, I have a senior in high school. So she shows up at my house on a Saturday with her mom, and what are we doing? So we're about ready to do her application to ASU and her financial aid. It was April. She'd done none of it. And I asked her, what are you doing as a senior in high school and you haven't even applied to college? What are you doing?
Sure.
And her answer was one of those things that you never forget. She said, I've been poor my whole life. I know I'm not going anywhere. What's the rush? What's the rush? Well, 2 hours later, we finished her application to ASU. We finished her financial aid, and it went through, and she was in ASU all paid. She's still there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for 10 years. The kids that I've helped in 7th and 8th grade are now sophomores, juniors in college or beyond. And the students that I'm helping at the East Valley Institute of Technology, because they don't have any college advising there. And there's a small charter school called Sequoia. They don't have college advising. So I'm helping these kids
That's so awesome.
make a difference in their life.
That's very cool. So what else is cool is that you are working on a really cool event.
Oh, yes.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so, it's our 10-year anniversary. And a year ago, before COVID, I had this great idea. Hey, let's do a gala and celebrate 10 years. Okay,
and here we are.
Yeah, so we planned it and picked the date and went to the venue and all that stuff. And so when COVID hit, we kind of were waiting, thinking, well, surely this will, because it's in October, surely this will lift, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. So in July, we had to do one of those pivots, and we shifted to an online event. So on October 22nd, actually it starts the 19th to the 22nd, we're doing a silent auction followed by a live auction, and it's to raise funds in order to continue to deliver these very intentional and direct programs to the students. And if you want to take a peek at kinds of things that we're auctioning,
talk about the auction items.
So first of all, I got to say thank you to our official sponsor, which is Affinity Technology in Phoenix.
Great.
They made a huge donation to our program. I'm so grateful. And that event, if you wanted to see what we're auctioning, you can text CB2020 Gala.
CB.
Yeah.
The
CB,
letters.
Yeah. College bound. CB 2020 Gala to 76278. And then that will open up the portal and you can see.
Cool.
So for the live auction portion, oh my gosh, we have trips to Africa. We have trips to Rocky Point. We have to Glenary Castle in Colorado Springs.
Wow.
I know. We've got Cabo San Lucas.
Wow.
We've got some great trips that are available for auction. That's the live side. On the silent auction side, we just got a donation from the Phoenix Suns, who was one of our, we got a grant from them earlier. So we have a jersey from Eli Okobo, excuse me. Sorry. Sorry. We got the signed jersey from him. We've got a chef experience, golf package. If you want to golf, oh my gosh, we're golfing at the Biltmore. We're golfing everywhere.
That's awesome.
We have a weight control package that's been donated. So if you want to get a grip on your weight,
it's COVID.
Yeah.
You got time.
Right. You got to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, lots of stuff. There's stuff for everybody. So
that's
again,
great.
It's a fundraiser so that we can continue our programs for next year.
So the funds go directly to
for example, we're a certified autism center. This past year we had 4 special needs kids who are now at ASU. Come on, that's amazing.
Awesome.
And these are kids that didn't think they were going to go to college. And so I've checked on them. They're all doing fine.
Fantastic.
But being an autism certified center, what that allows us to do is understand the needs and to connect those families with the resources, being very intentional that they are happy with what is going to happen to their child and they're on top of it.
That's very cool.
For example, so we have to do training for that autism as an example. If we are providing programs to the 8th grade and it wasn't COVID, we would be doing a field trip for them because research shows that experience is part of the resiliency building for you to go forward in life. So we do field trips and community service. Other things would be more laptops. I got to tell you, I went back to some of my resources for laptops. They're all gone.
Yeah,
so
I can imagine.
All of this is going to continue again this next year with the need for at least 500 gig hard drive to download and finish your admissions process. But also when you get to college, Everything's
Yeah,
online.
right.
They want you to download everything.
Sure.
So you need to have a pretty robust, well-functioning computer. You're not going to make it.
Sure.
So we have kids that are disadvantaged in that regard, that are bright. Sally, I got kids that are 4.0, 4.2.
Wow.
They're disadvantaged because of these situations, and that is lost human potential.
That's awesome.
So
Good
we need
for
to
you.
fix that.
So real quick before we wrap up, how do people find you online?
Oh, collegeboundaz.org, and that's another way you can find us for the gala, for example. We also have a YouTube channel. If you want to see some of the students tell their stories,
Great.
then there's the College Bound AZ YouTube, and
Awesome.
you can watch that as well. So.
That's very cool. Liz, thanks so much for joining us today on the Inside
Absolutely.
Business Podcast. You can find all of our episodes of the Inside Business Podcast at iTunes, Google Play, or your own favorite podcast website. You can also find them online at mesachamber.org. Thanks again.